welcome to another tutorial. Today we're looking at a mass down a parabola. Now we can draw a parabola like this. It's not a very good drawing, but you can see the sort of way it's in. Now if we have the mass there, and it has mass mg there, what we want to actually find, that can basically, you can draw it like a tangent to it like that, and it's not the most clear, but with that tangent what we can do is we can draw a triangle like this. Let's imagine this top line here is the tangent line. The hypotenuse is the tangent line. Then we have the mass here, goes down like this. Then mg, and then we have the angle theta, and then we have the right angle there. Now with that, what we can do is we know therefore that that tangent is going to be dy by dx, as it's the gradient. So if, let's say, we assume the curve is going to be y equals ax squared, that's the equation, and we assume that a is greater than 0 as it's the smiling parabola. That might not be very technical, but that's the point. Therefore, we're going to have that the mg part, and with that we can also know, we're looking for here, we know that there's a component there which is similar to this here, the component, and that's going to be mg sine theta, like any sort of incline problem. However, theta is going to be variable, and that's the difference here. It's like solving an incline problem where we assume theta is variable. Now, if we look at this, we can differentiate it, dy by dx, and that's going to equal tan theta. Yeah, because it's the opposite side over the adjacent, the opposite over the adjacent, and that is basically, dy by dx. In other words, for a tangent point, it's dy. It's going to be, we can rewrite it like this: dy for this point, and then dx, and dx for this point, like that, equals tan of theta. And with that, we know that we can, let's draw out the triangle once again. We know tan theta is going to equal, we know the derivative of y equals a squared is going to be, is going to equal 2ax. That is the derivative of y equals ax squared. Therefore, tan of theta is going to equal 2ax. So tan of theta can be written as equals 2ax over 1. Well, this triangle here, we can write therefore this side here. Let's just rub it out and then move it a little bit. Right, let's draw it like this. Theta, the right angle, and you're going to have 2ax for this side and 1, as it's the opposite over adjacent, 2ax over 1. And from the Pythagorean theorem, we can quickly find that this hypotenuse side is going to be 1 squared, which is 1, add 2ax squared, like this, all in a square root. So we have that now. So therefore sine theta is going to be the opposite, 2ax. It's going to be 2ax over the hypotenuse, and that can get sine of theta. So we can get it into sine of theta is equal to 2ax over 1 plus 2ax squared, all in a square root. So we have sine in that formula now. And with that, since we know that it's going to be, we know with inclined planes, mg sine theta is the component, so therefore we can get function of the tangent is equal to the mass times acceleration of the tangential acceleration, which is in parallel with the mg sine component. It's parallel to the tangent, which equals, it's not a very good equal sign, but it's going to be equal to, therefore, mass times by, it's a component of sine, so it's m times by g times by sine of theta, which is 2ax, which is got before, all over 1 plus 2ax squared, like that, all inside the square root, like that. And with that, now what we can do is we can very simply, for the next part, we have like this now. This is basically the general format. We can cancel out the m's first of all, and you get the acceleration force. Well, sorry, not that force, so you get the acceleration equation, which is going to be very important for the next part. Now what we do, now that we have the acceleration, and we're going to assume gravity is going downwards, so we're going to make it negative, as we're going to assume gravity is acting downwards. and we're going to resolve upwards. So we're going to yes. Next part, what we want to do now is get the ds. Now this is important. For any curve that you have, we know that the length of that curve, there's a formula for it. I'm not going to derive it in this video, but we know the formula is ds is equal to 1 plus, and it's the derivative of the function. Now the derivative of this function is 2ax, which looks actually pretty familiar. That's not very clear, I apologise. And then at the end, it's going to be dx. Now, the thing is, when we're looking at this system, there's one thing we want to know. We know that on this system, that's the wrong triangle, let's look at the other triangle. We know velocity is acting down. It's a tangent velocity, and so is acceleration. Acceleration is acting like that. It's like a tangential acceleration, like that. You know, it's vt, like v as a v subscript t, and then a subscript t, where a subscript t equals dv tangent by dt, because these are parallel to the tangent of that point in the curve, and that's what we want to know if we're treating it like an inclined plane. As the inclined plane is always the force that is parallel to the hypotenuse, and it's the velocity and acceleration in that way. So we're doing the same thing with that formula there. What we can actually do, we can go over here and we can do the same thing, and we can convert it. If we divide both sides by dt, you get it into ds by dt is equal to 1 plus 2ax squared, like that, and then x dot, as it's just dx by dt. Now ds by dt is actually familiar. ds by dt is just s is just tangent, isn't it? So therefore vt is equal to ds by dt. As ds by dt is just if s is always a tangent point. If you think about s as an infinitesimally small point, it is going to just be a tangent. It's just going to be a triangle point at that point. So therefore, that is going to be the velocity tangent as an equation in terms of x dot and in terms of x. What we want to do now, we want to basically use a little identity in the chain rule. We can write dvt by dt is going to equal dvt by dx times by x dot. So you know why it's x dot? Because divided by dt, the dx cancels out. So that's that there, which can also be written as, it's not very clear, sorry. Let me make it more clear for you. It can also be written as dvt by dx times by x dot, the first derivative of x with respect to time. Now what we can do now is we can look at the next part. We know that when it comes into this equation here, we can actually rewrite the ma part, or the acceleration time part we got earlier. Acceleration t is equal to dv by dt as a tangent, and we derived before that it was equal to minus 2a, if you timed it all together, 2a gx, as the m cancelled out before, 1 plus 2ax squared, like that. It's not very clear square root, but yeah, it's in that format there. And then the next part now is, since we know that, we can substitute in this new part we have, this part here, this chain rule part. So you can actually rewrite it as dvt by dx times by x dot is equal to minus 2agx over 1 plus 2ax squared, square root of that. Same problem again, isn't it? Same, there we go. And then we know what x dot is. The reason why is we derived it from the chain rule, but also this part here, we see x dot is just going to be, we can rewrite x dot basically as x dot, let me just actually do it further down the screen. We can rewrite it as x dot is equal to, from that formula there, yes, ds by dt, which is vt, v of tangent, by 1 plus 2ax squared, like that. It's not very clear. I don't have the most neat handwriting in the world, I do apologise. Yes, you have it in that format now. And let us now just push this away and let's get it into a better format. So what we're going to do now is we're going to substitute that right into that equation we had there. This one here, so we had x dot. And if you sub that in, you get it into a much better formula. I'll show you which way we get it into. You're going to get into this final version of dvt by dx. And then inside there it's the vt by 1 plus 2ax, like that, square root. It's just times by that. See, and then it's going to equal what we had before, which is the minus 2ag, minus 2ag x all over 1 plus 2ax in a squared and then square rooted. Now with this, those are immediately going to cancel out immediately, and then you're going to get into this form. Well, right, and then you're going to basically times both sides by dx, and you're going to get into this form here. So vt dvt is equal to, and then minus 2agx minus 2agx, and it was dx, remember, dx. And now we can integrate. So we have it in that format now. We can just integrate this. So we can actually rewrite that and just put the integral sign in. So the integral, and then the integral. There we go. And the integral of vt squared, vt is going to be vt squared, so it's going to be a half v of a tangent squared like that is equal to, and then the integral of minus 2agx is just going to be agx squared. So it's going to be minus agx squared, and don't forget the constant term for integration, like that. And then with this, what we're going to do now, we need a c value. Now let's say we're going to assume it starts at rest. So let's say it starts on the when you have the curve like this, it's going to start. Let's say this point here. We'll pick a point here, and we're going to say that's going to be x equals negative b, and so that it starts at the point x equals negative b. So therefore, you can write it as x equals negative b when the tangential velocity is at rest. Remember, is equal to 0. So if we sub that in, like this, you're going to have 0 is equal to, as it's 0 squared, it's about half. That is going to equal minus ag and b squared. Minus b squared is just b squared. B squared add c. So we have a value for c, therefore. Therefore, c is equal to ag b squared. And then back into our full equation, we can get into the final format, which is going to be a half v of a tangent squared is equal to, and then it's going to be minus agx squared and plus c, and c was add, remember we have c here, agb squared, agb squared, like that. And you can just rearrange it, times it all by 2 and square root, and you can get a final solution for it, for the tangent velocity in terms of x, which I think that's quite useful, is going to equal, and times it all by 2, 2ag b squared minus, so 2ag b squared minus x squared, like this. And it's all under a square root, of course. And that's the final form you're going to get. The velocity in terms of the tangent velocity is going to be that final equation. The only issue now is if we wanted to get the position vector, so you'd write it as ds by dt, like this, is equal to, again, that equation we just got there. And this is the main issue of this, why it's hard to get this. It's going to be a non-linear differential equation. No, it's not going to be a non-linear differential equation. I mean, it's not going to be something that can be integrated easily. You're going to see what I mean. This immediately is something that's going to be hard to integrate. And you can do the same trick. You can just throw in the same trick of, ds by dx times by x dot. The only issue with that, though, is x dot's related to v of a tangent. So it's going to be hard to do it that way. And that's the main issue with this problem. It gets very hard to get it in terms of, getting the position vector as a function of t, as a function of x. However, that's about as far as you can go with that. Of course, there are other methods that are more useful. I would say energy methods can be very useful. Also, Lagrangian mechanics, that's also a very often popular way of doing this. It's probably the most popular way of doing it. And if you include things like work done against friction, because this is assuming a smooth plane. If we add things like friction or air resistance, things get a lot more interesting. But I'd be happy to do that in another video. But yeah, thanks for watching, and do consider subscribing.